Hello, this is State Representative Wayne Christian. Talking today about an issue I think some people may not be aware of that's occurring this November, and it's that we might win the battle in November and lose the war. And that particular battle and war is for those of us who do not believe Washington, D.C. is accomplishing what our forefathers nor what is beneficial for our children and grandchildren. Quite frankly, I see America being attacked internally. A lot of times we've talked about building the fence at the southern border, and indeed that's a problem to be talked about perhaps at a different time. But quite frankly, I think there is as big, if not bigger, a threat that we might need to build that fence at the northern border between Washington, D.C. and Texas. As Travis drew the line in the sand, I believe that citizens across Texas are saying and asking of those of us in leadership or in the position of representing them in Texas government that we need to stop the intrusion of the federal government. A lot of ways we can fight that, but the November election is a way you can fight it. Number one, we can win the battle. We can win the battle by taking over one house of the U.S. Congress. Quite frankly, Obama's going to be there another 2 years, and he'll probably be vetoing many of the bills that hopefully will, as a conservative Congress, will be trying to take back some of the damage that has been done by this liberal progressive group in Congress over the last 2 years. But when we have the chance to take one house of Congress, we can apply a tourniquet to the bleeding by cutting off the funding. One house of Congress can stop most of the funding of all of these programs until 2 years later, where maybe we can do a total change in Washington. So in November, by voting for good conservative Republican congressmen, you can stop the bleeding in Washington, D.C. But in winning that battle, by ignoring another race, you may lose the war. And that's the Texas House of Representatives. Understand this is an event that occurs once every 10 years by the U.S. Constitution. It's called redistricting. It's the statement in the Constitution that requires one person to have one vote. It is a pure partisan political drawing of the maps. Let me tell you, I've heard the story in Deep East Texas all my life about I vote for the man, not the party. I believe that my good fella here, no matter what the party, will take care of me. Do you remember the last time we did redistricting in Texas? We had the Democrats load up in nighttime and go and listen to Willie Nelson for a week in Ardmore, Oklahoma, leaving the Republicans in the Texas House to try to do the work of the people? Well, folks, don't believe that won't happen again in Austin. Right now, we have 150 members in the Texas House. This will be a partisan fight on drawing the maps. And here's how we can win the battle but lose the war. The war is for the next decade. How do we draw the maps for Washington, D.C.? They're drawn this session in redistricting by the Texas House. And we have only currently a 4-vote majority in the Texas House of Republicans over Democrats. If we lose by 3 votes, we evenly distribute that battle, and that becomes a lock. If we lose 4 votes out of 150 to the Democrats, they take back over and they put back in the map that they had by Mr. Congressman Frost 10 years ago in place of the Tom DeLay map, you'll remember, that came into play or was titled 10 years ago. There'll be a dynamic change. We will change all of Texas congressional delegation, which will be the largest congressional delegation in these United States. We will send at that time, if you vote for the wrong people in the Texas House, you will send Obama and Pelosi a majority vote for the next decade. This is in the same election that we can win the U.S. Congress. So please understand, currently we don't have a true conservative Republican majority. We need more conservative Republicans in the Texas House. Find your candidate for state representative. Ask him about his beliefs in redistricting and especially about his conservative stances. I've been all across this state. I remember people from all different sections of this state are asking not for more moderates, more considerate people in Austin, Texas now. What they're asking for are true bold Reagan conservatives. And we need those type conservatives to defeat. Remember, right now the moderate control of Republicans in the Texas House has appointed Democrats to take testimony in committees across the state toward redistricting. Folks, that's not helping us to get that conservative majority and a Republican congressional majority congressional delegation going to Washington, D.C. to defeat Obama and Pelosi. vote for a conservative Republican majority in the Texas House and win the war.